So hello and welcome to one of the final episodes of Season 4 Rules for 2024. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a roundup of what's happened during the last year, or we're looking ahead to next year as well, and looking at some plans that I've got for next year. But first of all, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone out there that has supported the channel by liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. It's been the biggest year in terms of growth. We've seen about 300 new subscribers. So we're currently at nearly 700. So hopefully next year we'll be able to go towards 1,000 now. 1,000 is quite significant because A, is four figures, and B, because I start getting a little bit of money from YouTube in terms of ad revenue now. I get a very small percentage of the ad revenue that YouTube gets basically when you get to 1,000 subscribers. There's a few other little things you can do as well, but that's the main thing. So it'd be nice to get a little bit of money just coming in. I'm never going to be able to retire on that money. But it'd be nice just to get a little bit of money coming in. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, everyone likes the videos, everyone's comments on there. I know there's some regular people that seem to comment on the channel a lot, which I quite like, and it's nice. So during 2024, there's quite a lot going on in my personal life, not all good stuff. There's been some good stuff going on, but there's also been some quite tough times during 2024. And to be honest, the year hasn't gone the way I planned it to go. There's been a few bits going in the background. I'm sort of want to draw the line underneath it now and hopefully start again 2025. But I do want to say a big thank you to you guys because I've really focused on actually putting my energy into the channel, making the 2 videos a week, which I've been quite successful on since about May. I think I only missed the last video, which is on Christmas Eve. Usually go on Christmas Eve, and I just was that busy with family and friends and going out and seeing people. I just hadn't got the time. The week before Christmas, I'd also had man flu, so obviously I was on death's door for that. And everything just piled up, and I just hadn't physically got the time to come out and do some filming. This coupled with the bad weather and the dark nights, it gets dark by sort of 4, half 4 at the moment. So I just physically hadn't got the time. So I sort of missed one video, which I do apologise for, but unfortunately everything just got on top of me and everything's happened all at once. So I couldn't really quite focus on that. But even though all that was going on in the background, I've decided really to focus on this channel and take this channel a lot more seriously than I'd done before. Before sort of April, May time this year, I sort of had been doing bits and pieces on this channel, and I decided to set myself a bit of a goal when I was feeling a bit low. Let's focus on the channel and let's actually go out and let's do 2 videos a week and see how well I can actually achieve that target. I'm also posting a little bit more on the YouTube community page as well, which I think is going quite well. I don't post every day on there. I generally post maybe 3 or 4 times a week with little bits and pieces of what I'm doing to the cars, which is generally shared as well on my social media, Instagram and Facebook as well. So now we're about sort of 6, 7 months, 8 months down the line, and it's now really starting to pay rewards. We've had the biggest increase of subscribers this year and the most amount of views and the most amount of likes on the videos as well. So a big thank you for you guys, because this channel really wouldn't be anything without you, and it's been really good when I've had sort of low days and low weeks. I've been able to come out, mess about with these cars, do a bit of filming, and actually do something positive at a time when I'm really not feeling that good in myself. So let's go back to the beginning of 2024. And I actually owned 4 cars at the time, which really is one too many. I'm quite happy back down to 3 cars. The car that I sold was my 2011 R172 SLK 200. Wasn't an easy choice, but as I've explained in a lot more detail in other videos, it just didn't quite fit in with where I was going with the cars. And now that I have this SLK and also my SL part behind it, it just didn't fit in with what I wanted to do. I think one of the reasons that I did sell it, because it was just needing a little bit more work doing to it. A few little bits, just mainly age-related things that it needed work on, and I'd rather pump the money into this, or more likely the SL, which is, we'll come on to that. That still caused me a few little headaches, even though I absolutely love that car. It's still a little bit of trouble. So I decided to sell that. I sold it via CarWow, which is actually quite a good process. I had a figure in my mind of what I wanted to get for that car, and it came. And I think the highest bid, it's sort of the way it goes out to an auction, dealers bidding it basically, and it came in 50 quid below what I wanted for that car. So I just accepted it. I couldn't bother to argue over 50 quid, to be honest. I wanted that car gone. That's been a really easy process, really, actually, so I'd probably recommend them. I think Motorway and there's a few other people that operate similar to that. So that's been sold. SLK has been just finishing off the project. Obviously, there's been unexpected free spokes. I'm absolutely in love with the free spokes on this car. I know a few of people have been asking where can they find a set of free spokes, and well, I don't really know. That's the only set I've seen. I do have a look around on eBay, and there's some Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups I'm part of as well. And if anybody does ever sell a set, I'm probably going to put it on my socials and let people know that I've emailed me or messaged me asking for a set. So just been really finishing this car off, and it's just been getting all the little bits and pieces and loose ends tied up. Things like the stereo that I sort of didn't necessarily need doing, but I just wanted to do that and just get it sort of so more usable. Shall we say that's the word? More usable for me. Other than that, this car for next year is just going to get used and enjoyed. It doesn't really need anything. There is some slight bubbling around some of the wheel arches, which I know I'll probably need to address fairly soon. My best advice for dealing with rust on these cars is to get it sorted relatively soon. I don't think it's quite bad enough yet to get it sent to the body shop. I don't think it's that bad yet, but I'm sort of thinking 6 months to a year, maybe it's something I need just to keep a little bit of an eye on, really, and just think I need to maybe address a few little more issues with this car. Other than that, it's going to have a service. Now, MOT, which here in the UK is the annual roadworthiness check that every car has to pass up to 40 years old. They're going to have oil change, oil filter change, possibly going to get a gearbox service done this car as well. I can't remember off the top of my head when last time it had a gearbox service. I'm going to have to go back for the records, but I certainly don't think it's had one recently. So I'm going to get booked in, get it all done in probably June time. I think the MOT's up in July in this car, so about June time I'll get it booked in and we'll get all that done. Other than that, this car just going to get used and enjoyed. So behind this car, I've got my R107 380 SL. If you're new to the channel, I've had that car for about 18 months now. I'm starting to do a few little bits and pieces. It was away last year quite a lot at the SL shop, getting the engine running right. There were a few bits that just weren't running right, and it seemed to be you would do one thing to that car, take one step forward, and then something else happens. So it's one step forward, two steps back with that car. I will be ordering some more parts for the SL. I'm going to wait for the new year to go, so we get all that sort of like business closed down over Christmas and New Year. So I'll wait for that, and there will be some new parts being ordered for that as well. So there'll be lots more coming on the SL soon. Other than just a few little jobs, it's just going to be a case again of using the SL, hoping some nice ones out in it. There's a few sort of classic car ones I might look at doing as well, and just going to a few different shows in it this year. Out of the two cars, the slightly more practical car, it's the car we can take our dogs out in. We did it once last year, which is a shame. I really wanted to use the car more last year, but with it having the engine issues, it needed to get solved and it needed to be in the hands of professionals. So took it over to the SL shop and they did a really good job of sorting that car out, to be fair to them. So the B class is the B class. That I never really mentioned that too much, because that just does what it needs to do. It's just a bit of a battle with that car to keep it clean at the moment. It's constantly trying to keep the dirt off it, and it's a bit of an uphill struggle. As soon as I clean it, I take it out once, it's back to being brown again. So but it is what it is. That's a bit of a first world problem. I've been doing a little bit of work on the barn. It's been really cold recently though, so I haven't been able to get out here. Not because I'm afraid of the cold, but because I am painting. My big job at the moment is trying to paint the barn. I've gone for this white colour, which it was before. I was trying to go for a cream, but it didn't really. I'd have to get into all the little crevices and stuff, and it was just going to be a bit of a pain, to be honest. So I decided to go with the white, and it just given it a bit of a refresh, really. So I've done most of this wall. I've given the coats, the doors. I've given the coats. I've given the doors first coat. Those were like a sort of creamy colour, so those are going to need a couple of coats. I've just got to do the wall along there. Where it's brick, I'm not going to be painting. I actually quite like the sort of accents of the brick against the white, so those aren't going to get done. So everywhere it's brick along there will remain in brick. Once I've done all the walls and I can start to make progress on the floor as well, I'm going to possibly go for these sort of garage tiles you can get. They're sort of these rubberized tiles that are like a sort of jigsaw puzzle at the edge. You sort of tap them into place. You can cut them down to size, really good, particularly that the pillars are stick out. So that should be a nice, easy job. Just got to make sure I get enough of them. So you may also remember the sort of very short-lived Mini R50 Cooper project I had on the channel. Sort of accidentally bought it at a car auction, sort of saw this Mini going through quite cheap, stuck my hand up in there, and no one else bid. And ended up buying that, I think, including auction fee, £446. That was a really good, I was looking forward to that project, but then a friend of mine who also has pretty much identical SLK bar the three spokes. He was looking for another project car. He sold one of his car, looking for a new project car, and he really liked minis. So I thought, oh, let's put two and two together here. We sort of came to an agreement on the price. He was happy, I was happy. And yeah, I drove it up to him, and that's now his little sort of project car. I'm probably going to go up and see the car at some point, maybe take it out for a drive when he's done a few more bits and pieces to it, which I'm quite looking forward to seeing that car again. So the reason I've left that car towards the end is because next year it would be nice to have another car. I've mentioned 3 is enough for me, particularly when I've still got work to do on the SL, and the SLK is probably going to need a bit more maintenance as well, maybe a little bit of bodywork coming up. But I sort of feel that I could have another car as long as I can justify it for the channel, and that's where the Mini came in. It wasn't that expensive to buy, tax and insure, and I could have done some little jobs for it. And it's something different for you guys to watch, really. I am mainly known for my Mercs. That's what I end up having. When I wanted to buy more of an older car, a classic car, I didn't actually want to buy Mercedes. I wanted to buy something different, but then obviously the SL was in the auction. I just couldn't say no to that car, and it went for a reasonably good value. So going forward next year, I am on the sort of half looking on the hunt for another car. I haven't really got a budget for it. I'm sort of looking for something interesting that possibly isn't a Mercedes, but never say never. You know what I'm like, I do like a Merc. So since the Mini's gone, I have been looking to get Brightwell's where I bought the SL from. I've bid on a Porsche Boxster, which again went for a little bit too much money. It needed a bit of work, that car. The main thing that worried me was that the electronic, although it's a soft top, not a hard top like this SLK, the roof folded down and the little cover didn't fold down properly, and it's all electronically controlled, and that slightly worried me. I needed a few other little bits on that car as well, and it just went for a little bit too much money. If I'm going to do this, I need to sort of justify in my head that I can sort of get my money back on that car, the bulk of it back anyway. I obviously don't have any ad revenue. I don't have any sponsorships for this channel. So all the money that I put in is out of my own savings, which is fine. I don't mind doing it. I enjoy doing this channel. But if I'm going to buy another car, unlike this car, unlike the SL, it's going to make a slight bit of financial sense. And if I do buy a car and do it up, I'm probably likely to sell this car, whatever it is I buy, on, and I've got to try and reclaim most of my money back. And with this Porsche Boxster, I just felt I was going to end up putting a little bit too much money into it, and it wasn't necessarily worth the amount that I put into it. Last month as well, I also bid on a Porsche 911. It was a 996, I think, 2002 Carrera 4 in a sort of very light blue colour. It was almost like a silver with a bit of a bluey tint to it, with a very dark blue leather interior. I actually thought it was black, but actually, you look a bit closer, it is dark blue. Very nice car, but again, just went for that little bit too much money, and also it didn't have a very long MOT. And when I say it didn't have a long MOT, I mean it had a week left from when the auction ended. If it had like a month or two, I might have been okay with it a bit more. But the fact it had a week's MOT, I went down to the auction to view it, because obviously I'm not going to spend that amount of money bidding blind. And they couldn't start the car because the battery was flat, which again, when you're spending that sort of money, I sort of need to hear the engine running. I need to check there's nothing bad coming out the exhaust when it starts up. And it was just a bit too much of a risk with having no MOT, not hearing it start. I did see a picture on the auction's website, and they showed a picture of the engine running while the picture of the dash while the engine's running, so I could see there weren't any warning lights, but there was just so many question marks, so much risk involved. And it's not as though, like this car I paid £500 for, there isn't that much risk. If it turns out to be a bad one, I've lost £500. Was that it's probably going to get towards 10 grand to buy that car, which again is a good price for one of those cars, but it's 10 grand on a huge risk, and I'm also going to have to put money into the car. It needed a bit of bodywork, needed the wheels refurbishing, needed a big service. So I ended up saying no, because that really was a bit of a risk, a bit of a gamble, and I knew I wasn't necessarily going to get money back. But so what are my plans for next year in terms of the channel? Well, more the same pretty much. I'm going to do all my detailing stuff. I love detailing cars. That will always be part of the channel. But next year, I really want to actually focus on getting these cars, this one and the SL, out and about a bit more, using them, taking to shows, doing drives in them. I really want to take you guys along for for the ride on that as well. So that's my big plan for next year, just to actually use these cars a bit more. So I know I keep banging on about it, but I do want to take this car out for probably a day trip over to Wales or the Cotswolds, wherever it might end up, just to draw lines on the project to say it's done. This car's where I want it to be now, and I'm really happy with the car. So that'll be a separate video, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully when the weather perks up a little bit, I'll be able to get the car out. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a very good Christmas. I hope you have an enjoyable New Year as well. It's going to be goodbye from me, goodbye from the SLK, goodbye from the barn, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.